Krishna, wish you very happy Radhastami. Thank you so much for coming for the very auspicious celebrations of the appearance of Srimati Radhika. So we have a very special speaker with us today. His name is Arjun Sakha Prabhu, Arjun Sakha Das. So I'll just read a small bio, those who don't know about him. Arjun Sakha Prabhu is a Diksha disciple of His Holiness Radha Govind Das Goswami Maharaj, who is a very senior disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is very well known for his class on Srimad Bhagavatam. If you have never heard Srimad Bhagavatam of His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj, you should listen to him. It's amazing. Academically, Arjun Sakha Prabhu holds a master's degree in information systems from New Jersey and spiritually holds a Bhakti Shastra degree from ISKCON Chowpatty. He has been actively preaching in many ISKCON centers across the world and has been inspiring and helping the youth to go deeper in their chanting and hearing of Krishna Katha and at ISKCON Seattle. In his childhood, he was fortunate enough to get immense spiritual association of Sripad Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's dear scientist disciple, who sowed the seed of Krishna consciousness in him. So he's an amazing speaker, and I personally know him a bit at least, and I heard a lot about him from many of the disciples, many of the devotees in ISKCON Seattle, how much he inspiring the youth, so much so that the youth in ISKCON Seattle, they get up the Brahma Muhurta and chant 16 rounds. They're so enthusiastic in doing it, and they love him very much. He's a big inspiring speaker. So please pay your full attention to this Katha of Srimati Radhika today evening, and tomorrow also. So thank you so much. We welcome Arjun Sakha Prabhu by 3 times loudly chanting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please take it.
जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर सादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Vrishabhanunandini Srimati Radharani ki Jai. Thank you so much, dear Narottam Vilas Prabhu, for that very, very kind introduction. Before I begin, I really want to express my inability to discuss anything spiritual, especially the highest topic of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, the Gaudiya Siddhanta, Srimati Radharani. Our Acharyas explain, Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tumara karuna sara. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tumara karuna sara. If I see my yogyata, that is qualification. We are not talking about B.Tech, MS, PhDs, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook. We are talking about the qualification of bhakti. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai. There is no qualification. This speaker, who is there in front of you all, as far as age is concerned, I am younger than most, except for some friends over here. As far as bhakti is concerned, I am still younger than all of you all. So age-wise, bhakti-wise, there is no qualification. But the only hope and only desire is today and tomorrow, whatever classes we are going to attempt. Shri Shri Nitai Sachinandan ki Jai. The only hope and desire is the next 2 days, whatever classes we have, if Saragrahi devotees bless and pray for me, then I may be able to glorify Srimati Radharani in the right spirit. So in that humble mood of being the servant of the servant of the servant, I am offering obeisances to each and every devotee present here. Please bless me. Please pray for me so that I glorify Srimati Radharani in the right spirit. Please accept my very humble obeisances. Vansha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. In fact, as Prabhuji mentioned, last about 3 years, a little more than 3 years, I've been living in Seattle, very close to the Seattle temple. And even though I am physically here, my heart is still there, because I was seeing all the videos and all the decorations and all the festivities that is going on there. My one leg is here in Portland, and another leg is there in Seattle. And while we are there at ISKCON Seattle, the mood that is cultivated, not just there, but in every ISKCON temple around the world, if we can cry like that for Srimati Radharani, then this is definitely the last life. If that is the mood that we carry to cry for Radhika, then naturally Krishna is going to take us back. So we are bringing this point that the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he brought down to this world is Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayor Das 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 Anudas, to be in the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. And we see that when I was planning to come here to Portland, even though as far as the geography and all is concerned, it's just 2.5 hour car drive. And initially, I had thought of coming via train. The train tickets were booked, everything was set. 24 hours prior to my journey, Krishna orchestrated it such, Radharani orchestrated it such, that it made me difficult to board the train. And then naturally the next option was the flight. So we went ahead and booked the flight, and it was yesterday night, 8:45. I reached the airport by about 7:30-ish, and then when it was about 8:15, they make an announcement that the flight is delayed. From 8:45, it gets delayed to 9 o'clock. When it's about 8:55, they make an announcement that the flight is delayed to 10 o'clock. Now you may be wondering that I may have caught the 10 o'clock flight. At 9:55, I get a thunderbolt. At 9:55, they make an announcement that we regret to inform you that we don't have any updates for this flight. I said, are you serious? I have been waiting here for the past 2 hours and you say there's no updates? They said, some maintenance issue and we have no updates for this flight. I was almost about to call Narottam Vilas Prabhu and say, I think Radharani doesn't want me to come to Portland. I am not qualified to be in association of all the devotees. She doesn't want me to come. At 10:05-ish, they make another announcement. And they say, well, this flight is cancelled. There is another flight from a completely different terminal. I was in Terminal C, and another terminal, Terminal S, which is diametrically opposite. From there was another flight, the last flight that was about to take off for Portland. So those who want to go can board that flight. We can rebook you all in that flight, and those who want can go. The moment that announcement was made, the line that formed, it almost reminded me of ISKCON Prasadam line. It was so long. My goodness. But somehow Krishna was kind that they rebooked me. And it was a 10:50 flight. It again got delayed. We got boarded. It again got delayed. It took off around 11-ish. By the time I reached Prabhuji's house, it was 1 o'clock at night. A 2.5-hour journey from Seattle to Portland ended up becoming a nightmare for me. It really became a nightmare. It took about 5-6 hours. And I was telling Prabhuji, I think the next time, even if flight is faster, train Zindabad. I'm going to take a train. So finally, I think, by the prayers and blessings of all the assembled devotees, senior devotees, Prabhupada disciples, I've somehow made it here. I don't know how much value I will add to your lives in the next today and tomorrow. But my humble request is, if during the course of the discussion, if I make mistakes, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to make, when I landed, when I was talking to Prabhuji was telling me about every devotee here, how every devotee is very special, how they contribute to this Portland temple in a very special way. And I distinctly remember one of the names that Prabhuji mentioned was His Grace Paramakaruna Prabhu, as to how erudite a scholar he is as far as Shastra is concerned. So my special obeisances to Prabhuji, and I very humbly beg and pray, if I make mistakes, Prabhuji, I am like your son, I am like Gopal. If I make mistakes, please forgive me. And to all the devotees here, to Prabhupada disciple, the request is same. I am young, to err is human. I am 26. I will make mistakes. But if all of you all pray to Srimati Radharani and bless me, then the right words will come in the right spirit at the right time. So having said this, we now begin our discussion. Srila Prabhupada, when he was coming here to America, in the Jaladuta, 1965, the cargo ship, Prabhupada penned down something very beautiful. Various songs that Prabhupada wrote, but in one song, Boro Kripa Koile Krishna Adhamera Prati. In that song, in the ending paragraphs, Prabhupada, there's an outpour of emotions, a complete heartfelt effusion, outpour of emotions that take place. And Srila Prabhupada writes, Tava kripa hoile mora katha shuddha habe shuniya sabara shoka dukha je guchibe. Prabhupada has not reached America, but Prabhupada is writing, Tava kripa hoile mora, O Radharani, O Krishna, if you shower your mercy upon me, then what will happen? Katha shuddha habe, then whatever I attempt to speak in America, that katha will become Shuddha. And when that katha becomes Shuddha, what happens? Shuniya sabara shoka dukha je guchive. And all the people who will come to hear, by hearing their katha, the lamentation, the sorrow, the anxiety that is there in the heart will be completely gone. Do we have lamentation in our lives? Yes. Do we have sorrow in our life? Yes. Do we have anxiety in our lives? Yes. If there is someone who is saying that, Prabhuji, we don't have any anxiety, let me remind you, I-140, I-485, Vermont Center, California Center, priority date, it is always there in our head. This anxiety, irrespective of whether you are in Portland, Seattle, anywhere in America, this is constantly hovering. This anxiety is always there. But the fruit of hearing the pastimes of Radharani and Krishna are such. Prabhupada is saying, Shuniya sabara shoka dukha je guchibe. The sorrow, anxiety, depression, lamentation, hankering, everything that we have is completely gone. So that's an incentive. That's an incentive. The Kali Yuga mindset is such, when we are asked to do something, the first question that we ask is, Mujhe kya milega? What will I get? I will do it, but what is the gain? What is the fruit for me? So Prabhupada understands this. Srila Prabhupada understands, and that is why he gives the benefit of hearing Krishna Katha. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, Aniya cho jadi Prabhu amake nachate nachao Prabhu nachao se mate. These Vaishnava songs are so wonderful, so beautiful. Prabhupada is reciting, Aniya cho jadi Prabhu, Hey Krishna, oh Radharani, Aniya cho, now you have brought me here to Boston Harbor. When Prabhupada came to America, he had nothing. No contacts, no GPS, no Google Maps, no Alexa, no Siri, no money, no winter clothes. He had no idea whether to go left, whether to go right. In fact, when Srila Prabhupada was there in the ship, he had no money absolutely. So while he was getting down from that ship, he asked Captain Pandya, I have no money. I have no money. And you see, money in Kali Yuga, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj would say, money, money, brighter than sunshine, sweeter than honey. Money is the deal. Money is the thing. So Srila Prabhupada went to Captain Pandya and said, I have no money. Can you buy my Bhagavatam sets? Can you buy my books? So he said, yes, Swamiji, I will buy. What's the price? And Prabhupada said, $16. How much is it right now? What's the cost for a Bhagavatam set? 150? 250? Back in the day, it was $16. Prabhupada said $16. And Captain Pandya removed a $20 note and he gave it to Prabhupada. It was those $20 that Prabhupada used in the initial days to make sure that his stay in America is proper. So Prabhupada is writing, Ani acho jadi Prabhu amake nachate. Hey Krishna, I am the puppet and you are the puppeteer. The puppet is completely dependent upon the puppeteer. Based on how the puppeteer moves the strings, that's how the puppet moves. The puppet has no personal independence. It is completely dependent on the puppeteer. Prabhupada says, my dear Lord, you are the puppeteer, I am the puppet. Nachao, nachao, Prabhu, nachao se mate. Make me dance the way you want, my dear Lord. Make me dance. Bhakti nahi veda nahi name khupadharo bhakti vedanta nama ebe sarthaka koro. Prabhupada, out of utter humility, is saying, Bhakti nahi Veda nahi. I have no bhakti and I don't know any Veda. Who is saying? Prabhupada. The Senapati Bhakta of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu out of humility is saying, no bhakti. I have no bhakti, I have no Veda. Bhakti nahi Veda nahi nama khupa daro. I have held on to this name of Bhakti Vedanta, but I don't have them. Bhakti Vedanta nama ebe sarthaka koro. O Krishna, O Radharani, if you want, then you can make sure that this name Bhakti Vedanta is worthwhile. So Prabhupada is begging and crying and praying to Radharani and Krishna to empower him to spread the Krishna consciousness movement and teaching by example. Whether it is Janmashtami, whether it is Gaur Purnima, whether it is Nityananda Trayodashi, or whether it is the appearance day of Srimati Radharani. We always approach the Supreme Lord in a very humble mood of a servant. Always approaching the Lord in the mood of the servant, of the servant, of the servant. And we see that when Krishna was there in the land of Vrindavan, when he was just 6 days, not 6 days old, Krishna never gets old. Krishna is always Navayovanamcha, he is always young. All of us, with every rising and setting of the sun, we are entering the jaws of crocodile, little by little by little. Srimad Bhagavatam describes. But for Krishna, Krishna never gets old. Krishna is always young. So when Krishna was about 6 days young, there was a demon who came to Vrindavan. Does anyone remember the name? Demoness, so to say. The first demon. Putana, yes. Putana. When Putana came to Braj, it's very interesting. Sanskrit is a very interesting language. These names have a particular meaning. Like in Mahabharata, you see there is a personality by the name Duryodhan. What does this name mean? The word Du is negative. And Yodhan, Yodha means fighting. He who is skilled in fighting the negativity is called as Duryodhan. So every name has a positive and a negative connotation. Every name has a positive and a negative connotation. The parents, when they name the child, it's always based on a positive meaning. Later, how the child behaves, that's a different question. But the parents, when they name, it's always based on a positive meaning. Likewise, Dushasan. Du means against negative or wicked. And Shasan means to discipline. He who is expert in disciplining those who are wicked or negative is Dushasan. So every name has a positive and a negative meaning. Similarly, Putana. Puta in Sanskrit means pure. And Na, no. Puta, na, she who had no purity. Naam mein purity nahi hai. Leave alone the person. Puta, na. Puta means purity and na means no. Puta, na, she who had no purity. Very interesting language, Sanskrit. And we see that when we talk about the name, one of the very famous pastimes that comes to our mind is the pastime of Ajamil, where the name is glorified so much. But sometimes we see in Kali Yuga, what happens is even if the parents give a devotional name, eventually it so becomes that that devotional name goes to the side and then they have a pet name or a nickname. Sonu, Monu, Pappu, Tittu. Typical English. Hindi, so to say. Hindi pet names. Indians, those who are there. The devotional name goes to the side and they are addressed as Pappu and Sonu and Monu and God knows what. I leave the imagination to you all. Now just imagine if Ajamil had shortened the name of his son. And instead of calling to Narayan, he called out, Sonu, Sonu, Sonu. The whole climax of the pastime would be something different. He would have definitely been taken by the Yamadutas, if not the Vishnudutas. So name is very important. And more important is to not shorten it. If it's a devotional name and we shorten it, Gaura Premanande, then we know where our destination is. So names as much as possible, even if it's a little big name, we can try to call it. Because every time we say that name, we are getting benefit. Nama Akshara Nama Nahi. The syllables of the name are not different from the Supreme Lord. Kali Kale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. Krishna has appeared in Kali as his holy name. So, name is very important. And more important from the Ajamil pastime is to not shorten it. So, similarly here, we find Putana. Puta means pure, purity. And Na means no. So, Putana means she who has purity, correct? No purity. She who has no purity. Putana. Now, Putana, you may have this question that, Prabhuji, it is Radhastami, it is such an auspicious day. Radharani is the epitome of sweetness, and you have started the class by talking about a demon. Prabhuji, it is not Janmashtami, it is Radhastami. Yes, it is Radhastami. But Putana, we know she has a connection with Krishna. But she has a very strong connection with Srimati Radharani also. And not just once, multiple times. So let's begin our connection of Putana with Srimati Radharani. Are we all in the discussion? Haribo! The Himalayan mountain personification. The Himalayan mountain personification has a daughter. Himalayan Parvat has a daughter by the name Parvati. Parvat's daughter is Parvati. So Himalayan mountain's daughter is Parvati. And Parvati gets married to Lord Shiva, Mahadev. Varanasi Purapatim Bhaja Vishwanatham. Mahadev. She gets married to Mahadev. Now, the Himalayan mountain ranges has a strong enmity, a transcendental enmity, so to say, with the Vindhya mountain ranges, Vindhya mountain personification. So now, when Vindhya mountain ranges got to know that Himalaya mountain's son-in-law is Lord Shiva, he started doing yagya. What is the aim? What is the purpose? So that I get a son-in-law who's more powerful than Lord Shiva to settle scores. Hisab barabar. So it is all parampara, it is coming down that way. So he started doing yagya, and he started doing yagya to please Brahmaji. And Brahma became so happy with his 8 eyes. He was crying from all his 8 eyes, 4 heads multiplied by 2. So he was crying from all his 8 eyes, and he came to Vindhya mountain. And Vindhya mountain, he said, I want a benediction. And Brahmaji said, my dear son, whatever you want, I am ready to give you. You have pleased me so much. Whatever you want, it's a tathastu. Now, just to remind all of us, the whole Narsingadev pastime took place because Brahmaji granted Hiranyakashipu a few boons without even thinking. Brahmaji has 4 brains. No, he's like a quad-core processor. He has 4 brains. But the whole pastime of Narsingadev took place because he gave boons but did not think. So that was part 1. Now sequel was coming up. Part 2 was coming up. Vindhya mountain, he did bhajan, he did tapasya. Brahmaji came with tears in his eyes and said, ask what you want. And Vindhya mountain, he said, I want a son-in-law who can defeat Lord Shiva in battle. Who should be so powerful, in fact more powerful, that he can defeat Lord Shiva in a battle. And Brahmaji, without even thinking, took his kamandalu and said, Tathastu, may you have a son-in-law who's more powerful than Lord Shiva. Benediction was given. Vindhya mountain went. Brahmaji was going back and said, wait, what? What? More powerful than Lord Shiva in a battle? That's not possible. He's Mahadev. There's no one more powerful than him. So now he began to scratch his head. 4 heads. He began to scratch his head. And he was thinking, how will this work out? How to materialize this? Now, while this was going on, let us go back to Krishna Leela. Here what happened, in Mathura, Kamsa got to know that the 8th child has appeared. When he got to know the 8th child has appeared, he went inside the prison and he took hold of the baby girl, as we know. He took charge of the baby girl, and as he was about to smash her head against the rock, she goes mid-air and she becomes Durga, 8-handed or a 10-handed Durga. Just as a side point here, there is a very beautiful commentator of the Srimad Bhagavatam by the name Hari Suri. And he gives a very interesting analysis here. He says, air in Sanskrit is called as Vishnupada. What is it called? Vishnupada. While Vishnupada also means lotus feet of Vishnu. So thin air in Sanskrit is called Vishnupada, while at the same time Vishnupada also means the lotus feet of Vishnu. So Hari Suri comments there by saying, when Kamsa threw the girl child in air, and when she touched Vishnupada, she got her original form back. Similarly, what's the lesson for the sadhakas? When as sadhakas we approach Vishnupada, that is the lotus feet of Vishnu, we will also get our original form back. So it's just a play of words. For Durga, it was thin air, but for sadhakas, it is lotus feet of Vishnu. So he takes the child, he tries to kill the child, but then she manifests as Durga. And then when Kamsa looks at her, he understands that his game is up. He cannot do anything. So he begged Durga that, I have been doing your bhajan. I am such a devoted follower. At least give me some hint. I was told the 8th child will kill, but what is this form? And at that time our acharyas comment, Durga turns towards Kamsa and she says, the 8th child that you're about to kill is being already nourished somewhere. He has already been appeared somewhere. He is being nourished somewhere. Where? That's confidential. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. That's confidential. But I can tell you one thing. Kamsa said, please, Aniyor, please tell me. And Durga, at that time, she tells Kamsa, I don't know whether you can defeat the 8th child, but if you marry the daughter of Vindhya, then you can become as powerful or more powerful than Lord Shiva in a battle. Because this is what Brahmaji has just granted there. This has just happened there. I don't know how it's going to work, but if you somehow get married to the daughter of Vindhya, then you can become more powerful than Lord Shiva in a battle. So Kamsa said, okay, sounds like a deal. When Durga disappeared, Kamsa called all his friends, all his demon friends. That was Sadhu Sangha for him. He called all the demon friends. And he asked them to do something. But when they all heard it, they all stepped back. They said, no, we cannot do this. We cannot do this. What was Kamsa asking them to do? Kamsa told them, I don't know where the 8th child is, and I don't know where Vindhya's daughter is. All that I know is the 8th child, that is the boy, has to be killed, and I have to get married to the daughter of Vindhya mountains. His policy, his plan was, go and kill all the male children who have appeared, and go and bring all the baby girls that have just appeared. I will get married to all of them. One of them will be the daughter of Vindhya, and then lo and behold, I will become more stronger than Lord Shiva. Sounds crazy, but that's how Lord Shiva, that's how Kamsa was. So all the demons stepped back, because even amidst the demons, they have some policies. Not all demons are same. In demons also there is Kanishta demon, Madhya demon, Uttam demon. Even they have some classification. They also have some classification. Those who are godly are called as Sura. Like Raghunath Das Goswami says, Surapati Krita Dirga. in Govardhan Vas Prarthana Dashakam. So Sura means those who are godly. Naturally, those who are not godly are called as Asura. Asura. Those who are godly are called as Sura. Those who are not godly are called as Asura. In the Asuras, those who are cannibals are called as Rakshasas. And in the Rakshasas, those who have their forte in killing babies are called as Putana. It's a class. It's a class. Their forte, their specialization is killing babies. Streamlined, laser focus in killing babies. They don't kill anyone, just the babies. So now for the other demons, this was not their forte. But one Mataji came ahead. Putana Mataji. Because this was her specialization, she said, oh, this is my bread and butter. I kill babies day in and day out. This is my bread and butter. It's not a big thing. I can do it for you. Kamsa said, great. Now, while this was going on, Brahmaji is scratching his head. How will this work out? No one is more powerful than Lord Shiva. He's Mahadev. He's very strong. There is only one person more powerful. Shri Krishna Bhagavan Ki Jai. There is only one person who is more powerful. Because Mahadev is Maheshwar. Vishnu, Parameshwar. Krishna, Sarveshwar. Good, better, best. It's almost like SAT, ACT. Comparative. So only Krishna has the ability to defeat Lord Shiva in a battle. So Brahmaji was thinking what to do. Now as Kamsa was planning this with Putana, here Brahmaji goes to Radharani. So don't worry, our Radhastami classes begin. Brahmaji now goes to Radharani. And this is Brahma's policy. He goes to Radharani and starts crying. Radharani says, Kya hua? What happened? Brahma explains the whole thing. And then he tells Radharani, the only way I see this can work out, this can materialize, if you take birth as the daughter of Vindhya and Krishna becomes your beloved, then naturally Vindhya's son-in-law is Krishna and he is more powerful than Lord Shiva. Does that make sense? Yes. Brahmaji goes to Radharani and says, my dear Radharani, I don't know how this will work out, but if you become the daughter of Vindhya and Krishna is naturally your beloved, then Krishna can defeat Lord Shiva in a battle. So Radharani said, what do you want me to do? Brahmaji said, I have already given the boon, I cannot do anything, it cannot be altered, but if you can become the daughter of Vindhya. Radharani said, okay. Radharani agreed. Now in the meantime, Putana, she began to fly, searching for a male child and the daughter of Vindhya, that is a girl child. She was flying. It's not the Wright brothers that came up with flying. Putana Mataji was already doing it. I am very grateful to her. If not for Putana Mataji, I couldn't have come to Portland. Because of her flying, I could come here to Portland. So she was flying. And as she was flying, she didn't have to search much. Why? Vindhya, mountain personification, was doing a yagya with 2 daughters on his lap. 2 daughters on his lap. One daughter was Chandravali. One daughter was Chandravali, while another was Srimati Radharani. So Radharani had now appeared as the son, as the daughter of Vindhya, so to say. Now Putana was flying and she didn't have to search much because she ended up seeing Chandravali and Radharani on each lap. So she landed, her flight landed, crash landed, so to say. And as she came down, in one fraction of a second, she picked up both the babies and she started flying. And Vindhya mountain, who was doing a yagya for their benefit, in one fraction of a second, he saw both the daughters are gone. He was doing yajna, but both the daughters were gone. He didn't know what to do. He looked at the sages. He said, do something, chant something. Chant some mantra, my daughters have gone. Do something. And now the sages, the pujaris were scratching their head. What to chant? This is the first time something has happened like this. First time scenario. So they started chanting Asura Marana mantra. The mantra by which Asura can be killed. They started chanting. And now Putana is flying with Chandravali in one hand, Radharani in other hand. Putana was so powerful that the mantra could not kill her. But surely one thing happened, that her power was going down. Her power was going down. And naturally, as she was flying, the sages were chanting the Asura Maran mantra. Her power was going down. And at one point, she couldn't hold on to one baby and she dropped the baby. And that baby that was dropped was Chandravali, who ended up performing the pastimes as Rukmini outside of Braj. She's called as Vaidarbhi because she comes from the present-day Vidarbha in Maharashtra. One child was dropped, Chandravali was dropped. She performs her pastimes as Rukmini. But Putana is still holding on to one child and she's trying her best. But the mantras are so powerful that she ends up losing that another child. She ends up dropping Radharani, and Radharani falls on a golden lotus where Vrishabhanu Maharaj finds her the next day. Srimati Radharani ki? We always hear the pastime from Vrishabhanu Maharaj finding Radharani on golden lotus. But how did Radharani land there? This is the story. So if not for Putana Mataji, Yadi Putana na hoito, tabe ki hoito. If not for Putana, Vrishabhanu Maharaj would not have found Radharani. It is because of Putana Mataji that Vrishabhanu Maharaj found Srimati Radharani. Yes, she is a demon, but she is also doing service of uniting Vrishabhanu Maharaj and Srimati Radharani. And on 100-petal, beautiful golden lotus, when Vrishabhanu Maharaj found Srimati Radharani in the midst of Jamuna, he looked at her and she was so beautiful. Radharani was so beautiful. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami explains, please repeat. Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhura Smitasya Vadami Radham Karuna Bharatram Tatho Mamanyas Nigate Nakape. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is quoting these words. What is he saying? Bhajami Radham. Oh, I worship that Srimati Radharani. What is her quality? Aravinda Netram. Her eyes are like a lotus. Our eyes end here. Radharani's eyes, it almost goes and kisses the ear. Big lotus petal eyes. And the same we find for Krishna. And the same we will find for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Big eyes, and they taper towards the end and go and almost kiss the ear. Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham. Oh, I remember that Srimati Radharani. What is her quality? Madhura Smitasya, who has a very beautiful smile. Our smile, we can decide. Self-explanatory. Our beauty, we may be very confident that, Prabhuji, I am very handsome, very beautiful. Please ask the person sitting next to you. He will give you the real understanding of how handsome and how beautiful you are. You see, in India also, there's so many things that comes up to make sure you're quote-unquote handsome or quote-unquote beautiful. I remember when I was small in India, there was an ad that would play very often. Hi, handsome, fair and lovely. And then different people would come, hi, handsome. The aim and agenda of everything is to look handsome, to look more beautiful. At least more beautiful than my neighbor, my other counterparts. I should look more handsome. That is why Shankaracharya, he says, Angam galitam palitam mundam. When someone becomes old, Angam galitam, the skin starts sagging. Palitam mundam, it's a football field here. Shining, nicely shining. It is Sharad Purnima, nicely shining. Please don't look at the person sitting next to you. That is not what I am saying. Angam galitam palitam mundam. This becomes a nice football field. Dashana vihina jata tundam. It starts with 32. Then you have a cricket team, 11. And then you have 3 on this side, 3 on that side. And then finally there is nothing. And then you want to go and have dentures. So it starts with everything. Then there is something. Then there is nothing. Absolutely nothing. So Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihina jata tundam vriddho yasi grihitva dandam. When you become old, 2 legs are not sufficient. You need 3 legs. Vriddho yasi grihitva dandam tadapina munchati asha pindam. Still the pot of material desires is never satisfied. Human life goes away, but that pot is unfulfilled. Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihina jata tundam vriddho yasi grihitva dandam tadapina munchati asha pindam. The pindam, the pot of desires is never satisfied. The more we have, the more we want, it's an unending desire. So, we think we are very beautiful and very handsome, but real beauty is what Raghunath Das Goswami describes. Smarami Radha Madhura Smitasya. Srimati Radharani has a very beautiful smile. With all 32 teeth, by the way. Complete. Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhura Smitasya. Karuna Bharatram. And she is an ocean of mercy. Vadami Radham Karuna Bharatram. Why should I speak about Radharani? Because Karuna Bharatram, she is an ocean of mercy. Tatho mamanyasti gatir nakapi. Raghunath Das Goswami says, I don't know anything and I don't want to know anything apart from Srimati Radharani. Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radharani ki. Srimati Radharani ki. Srimati Radharani ki. It's 12:56. What's the upper limit, Prabhuji? 1 o'clock Aarti? We have a couple of minutes. Okay. So Srimati Radharani has appeared. And now she is very, very beautiful. We discussed the pastime. What is the tattva behind Srimati Radharani? Who is Srimati Radharani? Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Ladhinera Sar Prem. Srimati Radharani is Ladhini Shakti of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure-giving potency. Ladhinere Sar Prem. What is the essence of Ladhini? When that Ladhini Shakti is condensed, what is the essence? Prem. It is love of God. Ladhinere Sar Prem. Prema Sara Bhav. And when that Prem, love of God, is condensed, essence, what is the essence? It is Bhav. It is emotions. Bhavera Paramakashta Nama Mahabhav. When that bhav is furthermore condensed, the essence of that bhav is Mahabhav. Ladhinere Sar Prem, Prema Sara Bhav, Bhavera Paramakashta Nama Mahabhav. Now who is that Mahabhav? Mahabhava Swarupini, Who is that form of Mahabhav? Radha Thakurani. That Srimati Radharani, whom we are worshipping on this day, she is the epitome of Mahabhav. Where are we currently? Anartha Nivriti. Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. And after that also Rup Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion, after Prem also there are multiple stages. Rag, Anurag, Modanakya Mahabhav, Madanakya Mahabhav, etc. Radharani is on the highest pinnacle. Bhavera Paramakashta Nama Mahabhav, Mahabhava Swarupini Radha Thakurani. Kaviraj Goswami is saying, when that Mahabhav is condensed into a personality, that personality is Srimati Radharani. And what is the quality of Srimati Radharani? Sarva Guna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. Sarva Guna Khani. She is filled with all the wonderful qualities. And Kanta Shiromani. She is the Shiromani. She is the topmost among all of Krishna's consorts. Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jambavati, and so many others. If all of them are brought together, Srimati Radharani is the highest. Kanta Shiromani, she is the Shiromani, she is the topmost. And why she is the highest? We will see that in our evening's class in a home program. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radharani ki, Barsane Wali Srimati Radharani ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Sham. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Is Prabhu singing? Is Prabhu singing? Oh, you're going to sing? Okay.
Haribol, Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Sanitari Sajanandan Bhagavan ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Friday evening.
Haribol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Gaur Haribol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Gaur Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe. राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे गौरांग 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 नित्यानंद 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे श्री राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 और हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय निताय सच्चिदानंद निताय सच्चिदानंद निताय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि निताय सच्चिदानंद जय निताय सच्चिदानंद निताय सच्चिदानंद निताय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि निताय सच्चिदानंद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभु निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय 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 गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाज का ज्येष्ठतर सदस्य स्मृत अवैचनारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय। निचला प्रश्न जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाज का ज्येष्ठतर सदस्य स्मृत भक्ति सिद्धांत श्री ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की जय। गुरु परंपरा की जय। षड गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय। प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री नित्य सचिनंदन भगवान की जय। श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम भगवान की जय। श्री श्री राधा माधव वृंद की जय। श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। वर्षण धाम की जय। रावल धाम की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलभद्र सुभद्रा महारानी चक्र सुसंजीव की जय। श्री नृसिंह भगवान प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। इस्कॉन पोर्टलैंड की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ऑल गरिष्ठ द्वेषण हरे कृष्ण। ऑल गरिष्ठ द्वेषण हरे कृष्ण। ऑल गरिष्ठ गुरु एंड गौरंग ऑल गरिष्ठ प्रभुपाद की।
So we'll have a bhajan, which Tulsi will sing about Srimati Radharani, yes? So it'll be projected here on this screen. So if you can kindly turn your attention to that screen so you can follow along, okay? And then we'll have announcements. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
No, I have it on my phone. So. Mostly, yeah. Hare Krishna. Krishna. So the author of this bhajan is Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It is from the Gitavali, and the name of it is Ashtakam Song 3. So I'm just going to read the translation, and then we can all sing the bhajan. I would like to mention that the rendition that I've learned is actually quite classical, and so please feel free to sing along as well. Translation. The beloved daughter of King Vrishabhanu is the crest jewel of all young women. She is fond of wearing blue garments. Her radiant complexion is very pleasing and conquers the beauty of freshly cut gold. Her locks of hair are nicely arranged, and she is the life and soul of Lord Krishna. She is artfully adorned with jewels. She is very learned in the science of Harirasa, and her forehead is nicely decorated with tilak. Her breasts are covered with a beautiful corset and adorned with black colorium. She is the relishable sweetness personified. Giving up everything and becoming a maidservant at the lotus feet of Radha, just worship and serve her with great care and attention. Beholding her effulgent rays of pure beauty, the goddesses Rati, Gauri, and Leela abandon all of their pride. The good fortune attributed to the goddesses Sakshi, Lakshmi, and Satya is completely defeated in the presence of Radha's feet. The group of rival gopis led by Chandravali is forced to accept their defeat before Srimati Radharani, for she alone controls Krishna. Thus, they always sulk and simply remain quarrelsome. Bhakti Vinoda, a resident of Sri Godruma, always endeavors for the lotus feet of Radha, the most beloved of Lord Hari. Srimati Radharani ki! तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनन्दिनी नीलवसना परिधाना 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 चिन्नपुरत्तजिनी वर्णविकाशिनी चिन्नपुरत्तजिनी वर्णविकाशिनी बदक भरी हरि प्राण बदक भरी हरि प्राण रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनन्दिनी नीलवसना परिधाना रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनन्दिनी नीलवसना परिधाना आभरण मानिता हरिरास पुनीता
साला काजल नयनी रसाला रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनानि नीलवसना परिधाना रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनानि नीलवसना परिधाना सकल तेजिया से राधा चरने सकल तेजिया से राधा चरने दासी होए बाजा परम जताने दासी होए बाजा परम जताने सौंदर्य किराना देखी आजा आरा सौंदर्य किराना देखी आजा आरा रति गौरी लीला गर्व परिहारा रति गौरी लीला गर्व परिहारा सची लक्ष्मी सत्या सौभाग्य बोलो ने सची लक्ष्मी सत्या सौभाग्य बोलो ने पराजित होए जहाँ चरने पराजित हो जहाँ चरने रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनानि नीलवसना परिधाना रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनानि नीलवसना परिधाना कृष्णवसी कारे चंद्रावली आया दी कृष्ण रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनन्दिनी नीलवसना परिताना रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनन्दिनी नीलवसना परिधाना रमणी शिरोमणि वृषभानुनन्दिनी नीलवसना परिताना रमणी शिरोमणि हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे जय निताय सच्चिदानंद निताय सच्चिदानंद निताय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे जय राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव श्री राधे राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव राधा जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम हे राम कृष्ण बलराम जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 श्रीला प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय 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 प्रभुपाद 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 श्रीला प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 श्रीला गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव श्री निताय सचिन भगवान की जय, श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर जी की जय, श्री राधा माधव की जय, श्री नीला माधव की जय, श्री कृष्ण बलराम जी की जय, श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Shri Nitai Satchidanand Dev ki jai. Shri Radha Sham ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj Lord Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai. Srimati Vrinda Devi Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Thy Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Shivancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripo Sindhuvevacha Devam Vaishnava Vaishnava Thakur ki jai. How are you all doing? Okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? That's the idea. It's the appearance day of Srimati.